Hello and welcome to the Secret Identity Comics YouTube channel, brought to you from Secret Identity Comics in Chester. Today I'm going to go for another brain dump, and I'm going to talk about why I think physical media not only is here to stay, but I think it might be on the rise again. Okay, now I know what you're thinking. Where's the data, Andy? Where is the data? Well, I don't have any data. An impetuous beast. I am just shooting from the cuff. My rolled up, untidily rolled up at that. That's the YouTube video. This has a potential audience of 8 billion, this video. You'd think I'd make more of an effort. Goodness. I did clean the floors this time, though. I did. Physical media is a funny beast, isn't it? It's because it makes no sense in this day and age. We have the internet. It's everywhere. You're watching this on the internet. So why would you pay for pieces of paper? These pieces of paper here, you could download that. You could pay for a subscription to download it, or you could do it on the naughty. I'm not saying you should, but you could. So why would you come and spend £4? People do, though, and I do. And I think there's a few things. I am in my mid-40s, and I have a connection with paper. I literally grew up with paper, of course. My generation, you know, we maybe one of the few generations which actually had the crossover into heavy digital world in our sort of early adulthood. So my life has been broken into two halves, if you like. And I grew up with paper, and I still love paper. I don't like to read off a screen. I mean, yes, emails and what have you, of course, but reading for pleasure, I really do. I'm not saying need it to be on paper. I don't need it to be on paper. I far prefer it to be on paper. If I really wanted to read the new something series, if it was digital only, or if it was digital today and I had to wait a week, 2 weeks, a month for it to come out on paper, I would. When Private Eye by Brian K. Vaughan came out, that was on his Substack. That was digital only. And there was a point where, when I became aware of it, where there was a graphic novel coming, and it was, I don't know, 3 months out or whatever. I waited because I want the paper. I do. I really, really do. And many people that come into the shop, just anecdotally, younger people, they do read stuff online. And if they like it, then they'll come back and follow it through in paper. They want the paper. There's a chap in yesterday who picked up Absolute Batman, the new Absolute Batman issue 9. Now, he was up to date, having read them digitally, but he got really into it. And as he continued his love of it, he wanted to get it in paper. Why, then? Why? I'm going to talk about films as well. So I've got a daughter. She's 16. Now, she does not like to use Netflix, etc. She likes to have a DVD. And I asked her why. And she feels some stronger connection to it for having it. There is also an element of curation. There's also an element of logging what you've watched. And fundamentally, with Netflix, she's spoiled for choice, which is a good thing. And we used to think was a great thing. But there is such a thing as choice paralysis. And when she gets a DVD and she pays her money, she has to, the money's finite. And so she has to actually take the time and choose which film she wants to get on. And then she's spent her money, so she's going to watch it from beginning to end. Music, we have this a lot, of course. I listen to a lot of music, and I like to listen to a lot of new music. But I've got into this lazy brain stage of it needs to grab me really quick. So I like sort of extreme metal stuff. And traditionally, their first song was always like an intro. It was like moody atmospheric organs and some wind and all that. They can't do that anymore because they need to punch you in the face straight away and hard. Because if it doesn't grab me, I'm talking about how much I like the physical media, but I'm guilty. Me, in the first 30 seconds, there is a wash of alternative bands suggested right there underneath. You may also like for me to click on. All of which is to say is that being spoilt for choice makes us in many ways. When I used to buy CDs, I would listen to that CD over and over and over again. I like it so much at first. My favorite album. I know this is a comic podcast, video. So why am I talking about music? It's analogous, isn't it? But I will get to comics. My favorite album is Necroticism, Descanting the Insalubrious by Carcass. And when I got that on CD, it was a bit too much for me at first. This was many years ago. But I bought it and I bloody stuck with it. And that's now my favorite album. Pieces of art like that reward putting the effort into them. I mean, yeah, sometimes it's nonsense. It's, some albums are rubbish and not worth that effort. There was plenty of albums I bought which I didn't like immediately, which I plowed the time into and I don't like. Physical media. People, I think, like it because they feel a better connection to it. And that's why I think it's always going to be here. Now, I started out this video saying I actually think it's going to increase again, and we're going to see more physical media. And I'd like to explain why I think that. Now, this is a theory. This is all brain dump stuff. Again, I'm not backing it up or even pretending to back it up with facts and figures. There could be people watching this who are just going to tear this apart. That's fine. But every moment of our lives is dictated by a screen now, isn't it? You've always got your phone in your pocket. You probably check it far more times than you realize you do. There are studies about that. Just the amount of time screen just to look for notifications. And because you don't get one, it doesn't sort of register in your memory as having happened, but you look, I imagine. I certainly am. And I don't believe it's healthy. You will have at any given moment, you've got phone calls that can come into you, emails, text messages, WhatsApps, notifications off Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever other social media you use. You are always getting battered with content, with input, basically. And we're not Johnny Five from Short Circuit. We don't need more input all the time. Our brains are not built for it. And when you've got a physical comic in your hand and you sit down with it, you connect to it, but also B, you are actually turning off the phone. Yes, I know it may be next to you, but the point I'm making is you are not engaging with the phone. You are engaging with something which is passive. It cannot spit out requests at you. It cannot fight for your attention amongst its multiple apps. You'll be watching a YouTube video and a WhatsApp pops up and you drag down. Don't you dare drag down on. If you see a WhatsApp, I don't care if it's from your mum, I don't care who it's from, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. You get a notification in the middle of this video and you swipe down. We're having words. Completely lost my thread again. Yeah. So when you've got the physical paper in your hand, it actually takes you back into your own brain. It allows you just to relax. You can be lying on the sofa with a cup of tea, just doom scrolling through your phone. That's not really relaxing because everything's grabbing for your attention. Those notifications, like I said, and so on. So, and I think my generation, having come from, should we say, a normal job, a normal work life, that's being fetishized. Being more efficient is fetishized. They want you to be snappier, and it's all done under the guise of it's for your own well-being. With AI will make it easier, this and that, and this integrated comms system will streamline everything. Yeah, it does, and it's one more input because those other ones are still there. It's just one more input. And that at the moment is seen as a very, very good thing. But I just challenge that, saying, no, our brains aren't built for it. Just think of how probably anybody watching this, if you still have, parents, or, knew your parents, whatever. But my point is the generations before you, imagine what their day-to-day was. Imagine, meeting up with their mates for a pint after work. They would have to go home, pick up the phone, hope their mate was in, all these things. It was a slower pose. And now it's all snappy, snappy, snappy. And sometimes that's very, very good. But I think we can punish ourselves with trying to keep up with it. And it's very difficult to take a break from it, because when you take a break from it, in a way, from society, aren't you? People now expect you. There's an expectation. If someone sends you a WhatsApp, you're going to get back to them sharpish. Sounding a bit like a doomsayer here, or some form of Luddite. I'm not. I am. If you follow any of my content, I'm on Instagram quite a fair bit. A fair bit. I'm doing a YouTube video now, for goodness sake. I'm by no means a Luddite. But there has to be boundaries. But we are like kids in a candy store with them, or kids in a toy store, and have to play with all the shiny bells and whistles all the time. And I think it will catch some of us up. Hopefully not you, hopefully not me, hopefully no one we know. But it's happening. I'm sure we probably all know someone who's got frazzled from it all, and that can take different forms. Which is why, back to the topic, I think physical media will always have a place and is going to regain its place. No, we're not going to have the vinyl, CD, comic, book, DVD sales, newspapers, magazines, sales of yore. No, of course not. I don't buy newspapers anymore, but I do read a lot of news online. I'm prepared for that service to be online. And I think that's fitting, because news breaks so quickly that having that access to up-to-date information is very, very relevant. That makes total sense. But comic books are periodicals. We don't need that for them. We need, I believe, to connect with them and enjoy them. Now, if you enjoy reading off a screen, if you enjoy the efficiency, the convenience, that was the word I couldn't get to. If you enjoy the convenience of that, all cool. I'm in no way saying that paper is better than screen. What I am saying is there is very much a place for paper. And if you only read stuff off screens these days, cool. Maybe that works best for you. But I don't think it does for many people. I suspect it doesn't really for most people. I'd be interested to hear people's thoughts on this. And hence, I think physical media is here to stay and will increase again. Anecdotally, here in the shop, which seems to be my catchphrase, anecdotally here in the shop. As I've said, I do see many people that have been introduced or reintroduced to the medium via online stuff and are now enjoying coming in and seeing it. From my point of view as a retailer, again, being bricks and mortar, I'm very conscious that there's online places you can get these things. Of course, I knew that when I opened the shop, and I persisted anyway, because I believe, and I still do, and I'm seeing it in practice, so I'm very confident in saying this, that there are people that come in, as I used to do, not knowing what they want, but they want to get something new to read, and they enjoy comics. So they come in and they tour the shop. They look at what's new in this week. They look at what they missed last week. And that type of interacting browsing, the internet has not perfected yet. Well, you may also like you all day long, but that's not the same. Being able to pick it up, flick through it, look at the art style. Again, you can look at screen caps on the internet. It's not the same for many people. So I kind of bet the house, so to speak, more literally than you want to know, on this thesis of mine, that physical media is here to stay and people are going to increasingly hark back to it as they need peace. Which sounds preachy again. Maybe I should go into some form of like religion, politics, Would you vote for me? To be honest, I can't be worse than any of the other lot. I mean, if I've got a comic-focused economy, I mean, the world would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, yeah, your mortgage is going to shoot up and all that, but don't worry about that. Anyway, rambling now, as I tend to do. Let's just chill. What do you think? Am I completely off base? I really think I'm not. And I suspect many of you will probably agree with this. Maybe. Let me know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. As always, any comments, any questions, leave below. I'd love to read them. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Click the thumbs up button. Click the subscribe button. That would be superb. I would love that. And there you go. This has been a brain dump. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I've given you something to think about. Thank you again. Speak to you next week.